Hi, welcome. My name is Dale McCluskey, and on this video I'd like to take a few minutes to provide insight into the relational model as it relates to the core tenets. And these tenets, really what they do is outline what this model represents and how it approaches training through nature and through the pack relationship. So right out of the starting gate, what I show is that training is an intervention at the relational level. So in keeping with that, what I show is dogs are relational beings and that the decision-making process is influenced within this context. So what I show is that it is the primary influencing agent when it comes to changing unwanted behavior for dog owners, and that from again keeping that in mind in regards to training being an intervention, what I show is that behavior issues represent a relational misalignment has occurred within the context of the pack relationship. So again, everything branches off the dogs as relational beings, and how the role that we play in meeting those needs, and how that impacts a dog's decision-making process. I show the context of that through the influence of this relationship. So going a little further here, what I also show is as a dog gains power within the relationship, various associations, power sources, begin to influence the dog's decision-making process and how they respond within the context of various environments, other dogs, other people. So it's just like, and I refer to the parenting model quite often to help provide a framework or an example that people can look at. And so just like, again, I talk about the permissive parenting with the narcissistic child that becomes very much looking at other people as supply sources, that goes along hand in hand with having a lack of empathy. And there's some similar parallels there within the context of, even why learning theory breaks down, which I talk about quite often through my videos. But again, what I show is through associations, as a dog gains power, they start to connect those relational dots in a way that impacts the decision-making process through various associations as well. So that's why you take your dog out for a walk and you see another dog, or they might see even a vehicle going by. There's all sorts of things that will trigger the dog, trigger them relationally at that level. So what I show here, going a little further, is all interactions via this model are designed to promote relational change. So this is critical here. This is one of the things where, when you're really thinking about, what is the end game, so often what happens is systems of training promote certain interactions or certain rituals, such as doing the down, doing the come, doing the stay, but really no real kind of all-encompassing statement as to what is this leading to, what's the goal here. I mean, and this is and I'm going to talk about this a little further in my videos, but I talk about this whole physical response and relational disconnect that is very common, that a lot of these non-relational systems of training look at the exterior or physical response and they give that a thumbs up, so to speak, if it meets the criteria within their interpretive script to say, well, the physical response represents a like-minded state. And that's often the case. That just isn't true. I mean, there's again a relational disconnect with that interpretation of physical response. And again, if you don't understand or don't embrace dogs as relational beings they are, you're certainly not going to understand how to qualify that or what that represents. You're going to be deceived a lot of times, and people often are, including those who promote that ideology. So here, So when I say all interactions via this model, what I'm saying is because training is in a intervention right out of the starting gate, okay, um, how I approach training, I focus on right away on treating it as an intervention. Therefore, the type of interactions that take place within this model are designed to promote and create relational change through what I define as follower moments. Now, these follower moments are represent influence, bringing influence over the dog, over the decision-making process. But even to qualify the type of influence, I define it differently than corrective influence. Okay, so if you watch my videos, you'll see that what I'm basically doing is I'm getting a three-dimensional image of the relationship, so to speak, and these follower moments, what they do is they bring the dog's decision-making process within the follower script. Okay, you'll see a calm moment take hold, and these moments not only impact the the moment in the here and now, and it decreases the level of the owner being objectified, so you'll see the head turn in slightly, but what they do is they build on each other. They accumulate over several days, weeks, and what they do is they impact the overall decision making process of the dog, because it both changes how through that interplay, it changes how the owner thinks, and it changes how the dog thinks. So what I show is behavior issues are, again, they represent a misalignment, and so they all branch off that tree or role. They branch off, and so as relational change starts to take hold, the dog's decision-making process is impacted. So, but again, here further, I show again, one of the tenets of the system is just that, as the level of the owner being objectified decreases while these moments build, the overall decision-making process of the dog is also influenced. So this, again, the influence, the type of influence within this model is relational. Okay, there is a difference. It's the timing of that and the script of that, how that all comes together. It's all designed to promote relational change. So again, as relational change takes hold, unwanted behavior issues diminish. And the formula to determine the expected level of change is based on the level of role change needed based on the owner and the individual need of the dog. So basically, when you look at determining the amount of progressive change and relating to diminishment of unwanted behavior, what you'll see is just a slow, steady decrease. And every day you're going to see this change start happening. And the amount of change is really determined on how much power, relational power, the dog has to begin with. So there's a way to determine that. And when I help dog owners, I'm assessing that right from the start. And it's not a pass or fail situation. It just allows me to see the type of bridge that needs to be built, and it's all about changing right out of the starting gate. So here are these are the basic tenets of this model. If you look at it, it will make sense. Again, if you're people who subscribe to learning-based ideology as the path to take, I'd really challenge you to think about what I'm saying and why people end up investing time and money and then going home and discovering nothing's really changed. Well, that's because a lot of this with learning-based learning theory, how it's being applied, it's external based, which means it comes from behavioralism. It comes from the foundations of that, where the physical response, again, is they look at that as determining it to be a like-minded state. And if you really look at this whole thing about the relational dimension of things, and think about some of these issues, you'll see it, and it aligns almost perfectly with the issues in parenting as well, within that framework of the narcissistic example I use. So again, I would just encourage you to think about this. If you're interested in help, I'm certainly available to help people. That's my whole focus. I encourage people. Every session, it's all about just helping people move forward in small ways, which lead to big results. So, anyway, hope this is helpful. This is all again posted on my website. If you go into my relational model, I show the side-by-side contrast learning-based model to the relational model, and you'll find these tenants are listed in there as well. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you have a great day.